Hi, I'm Jamie Dukes, and I'm going to tell you why Matt Ryan is going to lead the Atlanta Falcons to the top of the NFC and to the playoffs, baby.
Hi, I'm Deion Sanders, and I'm going to tell you why Matt Castle is going to lead the Kansas City Chiefs to the top of the AFC West.
Welcome back to Week 13 of the NFL. I'm your host, Jamie Dukes.
And I'm Deion Sanders.
We got a lot of hot topics of what's brand new in the NFL going today, Mr. Deion.
A lot of exciting developments and some new statistics that came out today. And we're looking forward to a lot of
We have one. We're first going to talk about the biggest upset of the day today. We're going to talk about the San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders.
How about the Raiders' ability to convert on every time the Chargers were lost the ball or turn over the ball? We saw on the first play, the first punt return, Sproles fumbled. Raiders recovered and were able to get a touchdown right off the bat.
Crucial loss for that. This is called December fever for the Chargers. For the past 6 seasons, the San Diego Chargers have never lost a game in December. This year they lost already to the Oakland Raiders. Now they're losing in December. Yeah, they had a big win against the Colts last weekend. But come on, man. Raiders in December? In December? When you think the Chargers are going to fire for the playoffs?
And another interesting note is for the past, 4 years, Raiders were able to beat the Chargers in once.
6 years.
6 years, excuse me. And now they beat them twice in a year.
2002, 8 years.
8 years. In the last 8 years, Chargers consecutively beat the Raiders. This year, they beat them once at home and once in Charger Stadium.
And what surprises me, Deion, the way they beat them, though. It was a blowout. What you said from the first snap, that was a very, very excellent point you had. The very first play of the turnover for a touchdown, just they're not playing healthy football.
It's constant conversion.
It's not what you would expect of the San Diego Chargers, what we've seen this year. And yeah, we have a lot of hope for them to join, but you got to watch out for those Kansas City Chiefs because they're doing a hell of a job keeping their division lead.
Also interesting to know is Phil Rivers still at the top for one of the greatest quarterbacks. It just seems that they can't put it together this year. He's still breaking records, still making things happen, but
he is.
He's still consecutive.
He is beating a lot of Dan Marino's statistics.
Breaking a lot of those records every week consecutive, but just can't put it together. That's what it seems.
But Deion, one question, it's December. Yeah, they lost today, but they can make it to the playoffs, Deion.
I think it's going to be a struggle. They got 4 more games, and they're not going to get any easier. So
they're not.
They got to put their special teams together, and hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs take some losses. Raiders take some losses, and it's still possible. It's a long shot, but it is still possible.
The thing about it, let's look at the NFC or the AFC playoff wild card. Picture. Let's look at the playoff picture.
Who's currently in the wild card?
Wild card race right now. Let me tell you, Colts, Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders took the lead today from the San Diego Chargers above them, just for the wild card spot. Kansas City's in the playoffs. It's just very difficult for the Chargers to succeed, and with all their losses of Michael Turner, Sean Merriman, all gone. No Super Bowl for the Chargers. That's all I gotta say. And as far as MVP picks, we'll discuss that later.
Okay.
We're moving on now.
Let's see. How about the Falcons today taking the NFL? They have the best record in the NFL, 10-2. Got to give it up to the Falcons, baby. Matt Ryan, leading that team, can't do any wrong.
Let's go in depth with that game. Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez tight end.
He's a quarterback.
Tony Gonzalez tight end.
Matt Ryan's a quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Doing a great job.
Now, let's go through that game today.
Wow,
what of a game. Hell of a game. We got to see a playoff game during the season. That is what I like about the new standings in the NFL picture. They have the divisional games later in the season for us fans, you fans at home, to stay interested in the game. Now, let's talk about what happened today, Deion.
I believe that Falcons took the lead in the first quarter. Right off the bat, converted off their first touch with the football, and then they scored 2 touchdowns. The Buccaneers came back to tie, took the lead in the third
by 10.
By 10 points. Yes,
that's when
the Falcons got an interception.
Yeah, but that's very true. But that is why I believe that the Falcons are underrated. We have not seen them come from under the bat. They were on a 10-point deficit, first time in their whole career in this season, being 10 points below. What they did was very, very phenomenal, impressive.
All I can say is beautiful football. Punt return just to 103-yard punt return.
No, it was a kickoff.
Yeah, 103-yard kickoff return to a touchdown, saving them. They were down by what? At that point, they were down by 3.
3 points.
Got an interception. Finished the game off for the Falcons.
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
You know, Mike Smith is doing an excellent job with the Falcons.
Got to give it up to Mike Smith.
He's doing an excellent job. They have all these Hall of Fame players. Gonzalez, Matt Ryan, Roddy White. Give it up.
You might want to put Matt Ryan on your MVP score for later, but
yeah, you got to give it up for Roddy White, though, holding it down, number 1 receiver. He is beating Vincent Jackson, who could barely play on the Chargers this year. He's bitching about money, and that's what happens.
You don't get paid, you don't get touchdowns, baby.
And if you don't get paid, you don't get laid either, baby. So how about that for you, Mister? Anyways, and then we're gonna talk about why the Falcons are doing so well.
I believe it's just the offensive strategies, defensive coaching, overall special teams. They're tight. They're solid everywhere. No holes in their game. I believe if they can keep this kind of drive going into the playoffs, I think they could take it.
Simply take it, and I do agree with you with that one. But one question, Deion Sanders. Do you think that the Falcons are under the radar? What I mean by that is, do you think that us analysts, other teams in the NFL, they underrate the Falcons, and they are under the radar. They're unheard of, and they're underrated. Do you?
You know what I believe? The way that these teams continue to underrate them, it kind of gives the Falcons an advantage because they're like, oh, they're just the Falcons. They're just the Falcons. And now, as you keep underrating them, prepare enough, and look, bam, they have a 10-2 record.
Very, very good point. Very good point.
That's all I have to say about that.
And the last conversation of that tonight is who's better and who's our picks for NFL Super Bowl 2010, Super Bowl 44 at Cowboys Stadium down in Texas, Dallas. So it's going to be very interesting. So, Deion, who do you choose?
I think it's kind of, before we start to talk about picks, I think it's kind of interesting that it's going to be at the most disappointing football team.
Yeah, it's
a shocker. It's a shocker. I mean, if they would have performed like they did last year, maybe they would have had a chance of playing at their own home stadium for the Super Bowl. But this year, that's out of the question. Just wanted to bring that point up. My top 2 teams, NFC, I'm going to go ahead and say Philly Eagles, and AFC, I'm going to go ahead and say Steelers. Can't go wrong with Ben. Eagles are doing pretty solid, but I think
Michael Vick.
I think Vick is solid. Come back, as you said earlier, off of a second-string quarterback to become the guy who leads the team. Doing a great job, but I think the Steelers might have to take it.
Okay, I'm going to have to disagree with your picks. Deion, I'm going to have to go with AFC, the New York Jets, baby. The New York Jets, Rex Ryan has those guys fired up in their locker room. And I'm going to give it to, of course, NFC, Atlanta Falcons, the most underrated team, number 1 offense, number 1 defense, number 1 special teams, number 1 record in the NFL, tied number 1 NFC. I'm going to have to go, hands down, give it to the Atlanta Falcons to go to the Super Bowl. So that's your breakdown for Week 13 in the NFL with your host, Jamie Dukes and
Deion Sanders. Please continue to watch us. We'll be here next week doing all the sports analysis, football analysis,
your girls
team analysis.
We'll get you all tuned up. See you next week, folks.
Looking forward to the game tomorrow night, and have a good week.